happily add them in. Y'all, so I just wanted to let you know, first off, that we did our winter coat project and it went amazing, amazing, amazing. This year, we switched schools. The first school that we typically work with, they were like, we're not really meeting. They're not comfortable with us handing off coats. And I was like, I get it, and Sarah last year, we added in, she had some needs from her school, and we had so much money brought in last year, we were able to donate. I feel like it was like 6, maybe something like that, Sarah. But anyway, so I called her and she was like, oh yeah, we need it, we want it. So we worked directly with her school, but it was only 25 kids, which is less than we've needed in the past. So I had no doubt we would meet our goal, and we exceeded it, as I imagined. But anyways, we did all the shopping, we wrapped them up, I handed them off on Wednesday, and they got a new coat, a beanie, we bought beanies too, and we were able to give them the Henry mask, which is, I think I've mentioned it, but Henry Mask donated 250 of their nice masks to us to disperse out. So all those kids got all of that. And we added another 40 masks, adult and kids, because they have different workers and families and other kids that need masks. So Sarah's and her teams and the teams of the school are happily divvying all of that out. But it just felt really good to make that handoff this week. So proud of us and proud that that's something we continue to get to do and get to be a part of. It's amazing. Plus we had an excess of $600. So we are writing that check to Gideon's Army. They're doing another big drive for Christmas gifts for families. So we'll write that and get that to them. I actually emailed them and I'm waiting on a response because I also have more masks to give away. And I was hoping that they maybe could use them and utilize to pass them on to communities. And lastly, Angel Adams, who Angel was on a handful of times. Literally, I feel like in March, like when we started doing this consistently, Angel, she's a Black woman. I originally met her, she was coaching gymnastics in Haven. Her and her ex-husband were doing that. Anyways, she's just a gem of a human being. And she's the one who also has started now the street dance activism with Brother Shabazz. Track with me. Brother Shabazz is the leader of the Shackled Feet Dance, who danced for us last year at Winter Song. So Angel and Brother Shabazz together are doing street dance activism here in Nashville. It's super fun stuff, and I was able to go be a part of that. Anyways, they're really helping North Nashville specifically in those communities. So they took 50 masks, and she literally they were supposed to do it last Sunday, and they collected scarves and lots of other things too to pass out. They wanted to wait because they had so many donations coming in. They said, let's wait another week. So they did it today, and she literally just sent me videos. So I'll either put those on the community page or something. But anyways, our work is just continuing to partner with and link arms with amazing people doing amazing work already in Nashville. And it just brings me such joy. So I hope it brings you joy too. Yeah, that's all my updates. Okay. I know, right? It's all good. I can't believe we made it to the last official gathering, although we have a few other things that we'll do the rest of this month. But we've had more gatherings in 2020 than we have in any previous year. And I love that really the core of us that are here who ultimately benefited from that. And I'm thankful for others that have come in and out as they've needed it. I love that. I feel like Imaginarium's hopefully always a space where as people want and need, or a topic, stirs their heart, they want to come in and be a part of it. But I'm also thankful that there's a community here that gets to be together every week. And so I'm just really thankful for all of you. Our heart and why we do this. So I'm just going to pass it right on over to Chris so we can start our practices.
Thank you. I think I want to say too, relative to that point, Melissa, that Linda and I left our church that we planted in our living room September 10, 2001. She's never been part of a group since then. Never, very, very rare that she's ever been willing to go in and be in a group of people. And this has been really profound for her in the last year and a half, 2 years. And especially this year, it's like happy hour. And every time the doors are open for Imaginarium, it's for me, it's been very, very special. And all of you play a big part in all that. So I'm grateful. let's do a naming practice. We mostly know everybody here. We want to, I'll pick you out one at a time. Love for you to say your name, your pronouns if you're comfortable with that, where you're from, where you're zooming in from, and also just in taking up your space and being mindful of your presence, mindful of the place that you inhabit, the space you're sitting, the room you're in, the place that we're on this computer screen, that you are considering the space that you're taking up. And at times, some people take up lots of space, maybe don't need to, and other times people take up very little space and are a bit mousy and held back. And we want to welcome you and encourage you to take up the space that you're in, because if you withhold, you're withholding a gift from us, the gift of yourself. I'll go first. Chris, he, him, Cece, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy Hoppus. I'm in Spring Hill, Tennessee. She, her.
Thank you. Sarah, Amick.
I'm Sarah, she, her, hers, from Nashville.
Thank you. Abby, so great to see your face. Thank you for being with us.
I'm happy to be here. I'm Abby, she, her, hers, and I'm in Tacoma, Washington.
Malia.
Malia, she, her. I am in Brentwood, and you'll occasionally see Atlas, the German Shepherd dog.
Yes. Matt.
Hey guys, most of you know me. I'm Matt, he, him, his, and I'm in Huntington, West Virginia.
Thank you. Leah.
Hey there, I'm Leah. I'm here in Nashville, and I use she, her pronouns.
Thank you. JJ.
Hello, everybody. I'm JJ, and I am in East Nashville, and he, him, his.
Thank you. We had a fun text back and forth where JJ tried saying his Wi-Fi was slowing down, but it came out wife. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I said, my wife is bad. I can't be on this call. My wife is bad. So,
Ashley, please.
Hi, I'm Ashley, she, her, hers. I'm in Lebanon, Tennessee, and I'm about to go off camera to feed my starving children.
Okay. And Nathan.
Nathan, also in Lebanon, Tennessee, he, him, his.
Thank you. And Melissa.
Melissa, she, her, hers in Franklin, Tennessee.
Thank you, everyone.
JJ, you're up.
all right. I get to lead us in the Tell Me Something Good practice, which is the practice where we name the good that is in the world, and we will sing our little ditty to kick things off. And I don't need to do an example for you since I think everybody here knows how to sing this song. But I am going to tell everybody to unmute because we're going to do it together and have the chaos of the beautiful chaos of the music together. And so I'll count us down and then we'll tell me something good. And we're all going to be in different keys and it's going to be magical. So here we go. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Tell something good.
Do it again. Let's do it again. One more.
That alone. So who has something good that they would like to call out and say that happened this past week or in this past season for them? Leah.
I do. Hi, everybody. I love you guys. It's something good that we're here on a Zoom together because I've missed you. One thing that's brought me a lot of joy this week is, so some, I moved to a new place all on my own, an apartment in September, and it hasn't really been fully furnished. But this week I was able to pick up a little bar, cart thing, and a coffee table and an artificial Christmas tree for like $60 for all 3 of them together on Facebook Marketplace. So I love deals. They're all perfect and exactly what I need. And I decorated for Christmas, and I'm going to show you because it makes me happy. I got like my little tree.
Yay. I love
And
it.
it just makes me happy to be hanging out here under Christmas lights.
Yay. Thank you. Malia.
All right. Well, speaking of Christmas, a couple weeks ago, after we got our tree and got it lit, I came home from work and there were a pile of presents, wrapped presents under the tree. They're all for me and they're all from my husband. And I've basically been opening a present a day, like leading up to Christmas. He's never done anything like this before, y'all. And it's been delightful and joyful. And he's just picking out things that he knows will bring a smile to my face. And it's been pretty awesome.
Oh,
Little things. He wanted me
yes.
little things and not like huge things, but yes. And
So
they're
fun.
great.
And does he have a brother?
He has 3 of them, but they're all married.
Oh, well, he can try. He can try.
You can try.
Very fun. Who else? Chris.
So my work is done for the year by and large. I've got kind of like 2.5 to 3 weeks off. For the rest of the year. Now I'm self-employed, so I don't bill as much to my clients in December, but I always love the last 2 weeks of my year where I tell radio people the things that I appreciate about them. And it's always a very tender, sweet moment. And I just tell them the things that I've appreciated about them this year. And it's just a very beautiful experience to be intentional about telling somebody what I'm grateful for about them and how I experience them. And it just continues to endear me to these people. And I'm in my 34th year of doing this, same job, calling radio stations. And it's been a really good year. Thankfully, radio is an essential business. So radio's been working and I've been working, and it's been a very good year. I'm very grateful for all that. So thanks.
Yay. Abby, was that you raising your hand or jazz hands for what Chris was saying?
It was jazz hands and me raising my hand.
Okay, beautiful.
I started a new job like 3 or 4 weeks ago, which is great, and has been really great. And then I moved into my own apartment, and so I just am feeling settled for the first time in like, I don't know, since January or so. It's just really nice. And yesterday I got to I live in a place that like my apartment is really, it's just beautiful. Like I can walk down to the water and the mountains are there, and then walk to a farmer's market and get flower. Like it's just like everything I hoped and dreamed it would be. So it's just really exciting, especially after going so long with really feeling like uprooted and all the things that have come with this year for so many people. But just really excited to be settled and have a job and kind of have some stability when I've not experienced that in a really long time. So I'm really excited about all of that.
Yay. Ashley.
So a lot of you guys know who Butch Wright is, and he's doing Santa Claus by Zoom this year. So on Friday, we got to set up a call with the twins and Santa Butch, not to be mistaken with Butch Santa. And it was magical and hilarious and fantastic. And we got a recording of it, which we will pull out for years to come, especially as they're older.
Oh, so fun. Melissa.
Also, Matt Carr has his hand raised. It's been raised a lot, but he's the only one that does it officially, like uses the Zoom thing.
The Zoom part.
He goes next.
Well, it
Did he
looks
get
like he
mad
just
and leave?
left the
Oh,
Zoom
he
because he was
left.
tired of waiting. So
Hopefully he will come back. Also, hi, Randy Oxley. Welcome. He, him, his. Randy Oxley. Are you in Nashville? Or are you in Antioch? Or are you in West Virginia? Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Nashville up until this coming Saturday, and then I'm headed back to West Virginia for either a week or 2 weeks. Don't know yet.
Okay. It's good to see your face, my friend.
Thank
And
you.
Matt Cart's back. Matt said he's having audio issues. Matt, I just told him that you were raising your hand and then you like exited. So I was like, see, he's mad, right? You're next, Matt. No, my tell me something good. Also Haven's with us. Yay, Haven. So my social media job has really been on pause in light of COVID. It's just one of the many things that there's not work for right now, or people can't afford the work for, I should say. So I one put into substitute teach again, and brave going back in Williamson County schools during the midst of this, but I loved it when I did it before, and the only reason I stopped is because they started homeschooling, and but I figured out I can do it. They can stay home. They're self-sufficient pretty much, and Ben's here. So anyways, I'm gonna start substituting again, and then so that's a good thing, and for lots of reasons. But then I sang. I've been looking, how do I say? I've been wanting more opportunities to sing. Like I'm really missing music, and trying to find lanes to do that in a way that makes sense. And Ty, who a lot of you know, Ty Herndon, we've been friends for a really long time. And so he pulled Michael Passons and I to sing backup on, he redid the song Orphans of God, which was an old Avalon song, which I'm, as all of you know, most of you should know, I'm really hesitant to sing most of what I've previously recorded because I just don't know where I line up with any of it, or I do know and I don't want to sing it. It doesn't make sense for me to sing it. But Orphans is a really lovely song, and the heart of the message I, still get behind. So anyways, but it was all pro bono. It was just like, do it for my friend, which I loved, and I was happy to do it. I didn't think about getting paid or whatever. But he and Kristen Chenoweth have gotten so much publicity over it that it's doing pretty well. So we got to do a recording of it for this woman, Tamron Hall, who I had not heard of, but she's huge. She's on the OWN network and on other channels. So anyways, we'll be on her show tomorrow. But my main point is it paid because it's an actual show syndicated through Disney. Like I got a nice paycheck because Disney pays well. So I was like, didn't even know, like Michael and I were really like, maybe he'll give us 100, like, because we weren't paid for anything else. And that was like a huge surprise and a blessing. And I love that I can also financially still contribute to my family and my daughter's bills. Okay, that's my tell me something good.
Yay. Okay, Matt.
I have two. One, holiday shopping's done. Have not wrapped anything, but at least the shopping's out of the way. Number two, hi Malia, I see you there. I've got everybody on gallery view. Y'all, in my humble opinion, any Apple TV Plus subscribers, Mimi saved Christmas for me in what has been a really crappy year. I was all about it, especially with Oh Santa with Jennifer Hudson and Ariana. It was fabulous. Yeah.
So true. So true. Sarah.
So I've been teaching Zumba for a while. I think I told you all a long time ago, but this morning, my little 6-year-old niece joined me. And my whole goal with doing this is to really promote, movement and just body positivity and just gratitude for taking up your space. And it's not about getting it right, just having fun being in your body. And it was just really fun. And you can check my Instagram because there's her, she's dancing to Destiny's Child. And it's like the greatest thing to like just plant those seeds of just like own who you are. And it melted me today. So yeah.
Oh, so cool. Anybody? Leah, do you have another one?
Yes, can I do one more?
Always, yeah.
So guys, it was my birthday a week ago Saturday. I don't know what time is right now. It was like one of the best birthdays ever. Malia, who I didn't even know knew my birthday, sent me a birthday card, which was a thank you. And then I had like a Zoom with like my best friends from all over the country, and they got to meet each other, and I got to show off my niece who can say my name and maybe like walked for the first time on my birthday Zoom in front of all my friends. And uh, it just brought me so much joy and made me feel so loved. And it was just so happy to have like all my people together. One of like the few upsides of this like Zoom life is like I could like if I'm gonna Zoom with people, might as well Zoom with people from all over. So that I don't know. It just made me so happy.
Yay.
And I want
And
to
happy belated birthday as well.
thank you. And all the birthday wishes I got, just like every part of it was so lovely.
I love it. Anybody else? I'll close it out with I had a couple things. One was I tried to make Christmas cookies last weekend and spent 7 hours making them, and had to throw every single one away because they were so horrible. I'm not like, hey, these don't taste as good as you would normally, but they really genuinely were so disgusting. I figured out what I messed up on every one. I made 4 different kinds, messed up on every single one, something small that actually killed it and had to throw them away. But my roommate decided to record the process because she thought it was funny that I was baking. And so it ended up being like thousands of people actually ended up watching this story. And I really genuinely did get hundreds of messages of people like cracking up and saying this like made my day and was so funny. And so like if you go to my Instagram, it is in the highlights of my Christmas. It's a long story because it really was 7 hours of, I spent over $100 on groceries. I had the boxes that I was going to take to people and everything, and had to throw away every single cookie because they were so disgusting. But out of it, it got it turned into a very funny and fun thing, and seemed to bring some people some joy in the midst of my pain. So that was a lot of fun. And then Sarah, you have so many questions. I have 0 answers. And so, but I do kind of figure out what went wrong. And then another just kind of fun thing was today I was having coffee with a friend, and he was asking me about just what was going on for the day, and I said, well, I was going to see a couple people, and then I was like, I have this Imaginarium gathering this afternoon, and he asked me just to tell him a little bit about it. And I began describing some of the spiritual practices that we do and kind of what Imaginarium is all about. And he all of a sudden just like lit up and started writing down all the practices. And he runs a nonprofit that gives prosthetics to kids because the health insurance companies don't. Basically, they give them one for a lifetime. And he ended up being like one of CNN's heroes of the year. And he's like this amazing guy. And he's like, I want to start incorporating all of these practices in my board meetings. And so we kind of went over the practices and everything. And then also he is a donor himself and asked me to connect him with Melissa. So Melissa, you'll be getting an email. But just the fun part was it just reminded me of how, special this group of people is, and how fun it is to just gather and kind of ground ourselves in the practices that not only happen here, but that we continue to do outside of here. And then just the work that we are trying to do in genuinely imagining better world and making it happen. And so it was just a really fun reminder of this group and what we get to be a part of, and especially as the year is kind of wrapping up. So that was a very good, tell me something good kind of thing for me today. So, and thank you for everybody for sharing, because they always make me very, very happy and smiley. And so now I am going to pass it on to Sarah to do the land acknowledgement.
So just like always, we just want to take a moment to acknowledge the land that we're on, wherever you are, to acknowledge the erasure of the indigenous people of the land, and also to just acknowledge that no one can own the land and that we have a sacred relationship with the land. And just to note that this is the land of the Shawnee, once inhabited by the Shawnee and Cherokee. And we know that this, by naming and honoring the land, it's a beginning of healing, not only ourselves, but the land and our relationship to it. And then just thinking about as we close out this year and as we kind of move into winter and a time of hibernation, to kind of check in with our relationship to our mind, body, and spirit, and that connection to creation. What does that look like for you as we start to shed what was past, and also what's coming in the new year? And I found this affirmation, and I just wanted to share it, and I'll put it in the chat. But it says, I'm aligned with the earth below me and the sky above me. I'm aligned with the earth below me and the sky above me. So pass it to Nathan, I think.
Thanks, Sarah. We'll be doing our anti-racism acknowledgement. And basically it says, we as a community recognize that white supremacy and systemic racism are an insidious part of our society. Intentional or not, we recognize the harmful impact it's present in our lives, and the impact it has on Black, Indigenous, and people of color members of this community and other communities around us. We commit ourselves to an active practice of anti-racism. We commit to rooting out and addressing racism whenever and wherever we find it, starting within each of us and extending into our communities and the greater world around us. So I will pass it on to Haven, who will be doing our Stop, Breathe, Know Your Worth.
Hi. Okay. So this practice is to help you trust yourself and trust your body. And so you're going to put your hands together like this. Your fingers are spread apart and then you're going to tap each finger from thumb to pinky. And as you're tapping them, you're going to say, stop, breathe, know your worth. All together. Stop, breathe, know your worth. One more time. Stop, breathe, know your worth. Thank you. Passing it to Melissa.
Thanks, babe. Oh, I love all of that time. Like, I love it so much. And I love what JJ said. I'm so thankful for that happened. And I feel like similar things like that keep happening, where we've been in conversations with someone and you've mentioned what we do, and they're like, oh, I want to do that, or I want to use that, or you know, I love it. I love it. This should not just be for this moment right here, even though I'm thankful that it is for this moment. But I love that these practices can keep extending out, and that's sort of the heart of what we do, that these practices are a part of the work that we do, right? And it's just so many of, especially the acknowledgements, they are the beginning of the work that all of us hopefully feel called to do and are committing ourselves to doing, not just in these moments, but in every moment of our lives. So I love all of it. Thank you all also for helping to lead all of those. And I love that we get to pass all of those moments around, and that lots of people are engaged with it. So thank you all. Y'all, it's been a hell of a year, right? I mean, 2020 has been crazy, and I was trying to figure out and think about how we should spend this last gathering together, at least the second half of our last gathering together, official gathering. And I just kept thinking, what is the story that we are going to tell 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, whatever it is? What is the story that you and I will tell of this year, and how it shaped us, how it hopefully changed us, us as individuals and us as a country and us as the world, ultimately for the better. I mean, that's our hope, right? That we will take all of this. But this has been a year. Well, before I say that, we will do a writing prompt in a minute. So if you are not close to pen and paper, I'm going to encourage you to have it close or get it as I'm talking and sharing for the next few minutes. But this has been a year, obviously, of the pandemic. Like, if you think of these big things that are going to encapsulate what 2020 was, it was a year of pandemic. It was a year of isolation. It was a year of the giving up, the forced giving up of control, or realizing that we never had control in the first place, right? Where we thought we did. It was a year of now masks. Masks are on everyone and everywhere we go, hopefully. Sometimes I was driving up to the dance studio yesterday where Haven and all of her team has to wear masks, and you drive past like a sports center, and they had a tournament, and literally, first of all, there were people everywhere, all shoved together, and there were probably 100 people outside that couldn't get in, and none of them had on masks. And this is Williamson County. So it should be remembered to be the year of masks, even though not everybody participates. It was a year full of protest and marches and people making symbols and stating claim to something that is wrong, right? To the injustices that are happening. It is a year of waking up for many to finally understand and see and gain better perspective. It's been a year of movement. I mean, literally movements such like Black Lives Matter movements. I mean, movements are helping to shape and move the world forward. And hopefully the world is feeling drawn into that movement too, that we need to be going somewhere different and somewhere better. For many of us, it's been a year of rest because we've been at home, right? And there wasn't all this to go and do. We were limited in all of that. And so because of that, we were forced into periods of maybe resting or reflecting, a year of pausing then compared to our other very busy years. It's been a year of caution and taking precautions, right? How do we help ourselves stay healthy? How do we help others stay healthy? And also, I think it's been a year of owning responsibility, of understanding not just with COVID and the pandemic, although that's huge. That's a huge piece of us owning responsibility, is how can I care well, not just for myself, but also for others, but also taking responsibility for the things that we have understood and are learning, right? The ways in which we've been educated, specifically in all that's happening within the justice system and in what's happening in America and in our political system. I mean, it's been a year to learn, but hopefully it's been a year for us to understand that we need to take more responsibility. So I started reviewing just what were the major sort of newsworthy moments, and I thought I would review them for us. Hopefully this will not trigger anyone, but just to do a quick recap of all the major and somewhat horrible things that happened this year. We started off with the Australian bushfires that were devastating. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle quit the royal family. Huge deal, right? Huge, huge deal. It was January 9th that the World Health Organization announced that a deadly virus known as the coronavirus had emerged in Wuhan, China. Later that month, Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna were killed in that horrible helicopter crash. That month, our president was impeached and later acquitted eventually, right? In February 9th at the Oscars, Bong Joon-ho's film Parasite took home the most awards at the Oscars, like the Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best International Feature Film. It was the first time a non-English speaking language won Best Picture. Has anyone not seen Parasite? Not Paradise. You've not. Oh my gosh, y'all, it's so good. Well, it's good. It's really good, but it is hard to watch. So we can talk about it later, but some of you need to watch it. Others of you, it maybe would not be a good idea. Okay, thanks to the Me Too movement, Harry Feinstein was convicted. This was all before March. Like, we're not even to March yet, right? All of this has happened. The stock market crashed in March to its lowest single point day drop ever. The entire country went on some form of lockdown or stay at home situation. Then as we headed into the summer months, all of the significant protests started happening in response to the horrible situations and the killings and police involvement in the killings of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor. Twitter was hacked. Allegedly, a group spearheaded by a Florida teenager took over the Twitter accounts of Joe Biden, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Kanye West in a Bitcoin scam. Murder hornets came to the United States, right? These things, it's an invasive insect known as the Asian giant hornet, and it was spotted for the first time stateside when they invaded Washington State. Watch out. That's where Abby is, right? Watch out, Abby. It measures up to 2 inches long. The hornets can wipe out entire bee colonies within hours. Ugh. In August, there was the massive explosion in Beirut, right at the port, sparked by an accidental detonation of 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate. It killed at least 190 people and then injured thousands of others. Also in August, now President-elect Biden announced that he selected the California Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate, making her the first Black woman and the first Asian woman on a major party's presidential ticket. Also in August, though, Black Panther actor Chadwick Boseman died at the age of 43 after a 4-year battle with colon cancer. Then on September 18th, at the age of 87, Supreme Court Justice and unrelenting trailblazer for gender equality, Ruth Ginsburg, passed away. She was the second ever woman nominated to the Supreme Court. Then on October 2nd, our president, Trump, announced that he and Melania both had tested positive for the coronavirus in light of everything. Then on October 6th, rock legend Eddie Van Halen, he was 65, died. He was known for such hits as Jump and Hot for Teacher, which I used to have both of those music videos on VHS tape that I would watch over and over. And then finally, as far as major events, on November 7th, Joe Biden became the 46th president of the United States, along with Vice President Kamala Harris. So those were like the major, right, as far as major, and there were more, but that's a good list of them. I also found some really lovely firsts that happened this year. So Nathan, I'm coming to you with a cue in just a moment. It was the first time a woman surfer surfed the biggest wave ever. It was off the Portuguese coast. Her name is Maya Gabiria. She's a Brazilian surfer, and it's the biggest wave ever recorded. It's 73.5 feet, and we're gonna watch it to do something fun and exciting. Tell me something good. Oh, the tornado. Yeah, there's so much more as people are. Yes. Okay, before we get on to the first, Nashville was coming, but yes, John Lewis passing is huge and a significant loss to our world and our country, and thankful for his work in civil rights. But we can go, before we start celebrating other fun first, also, yes, right here in Nashville, the tornado, which devastated thousands of homes and businesses, or affected thousands of people, but destroyed homes and businesses right here. It was like one thing after another for the first 3 months in town. Any other things before I get on to the fun news of the first? Is I'm because I can't read the chat while I'm talking to you. We should all watch the prom. Also, I see that. Yes. SCOTUS ruling enduring LGBT employment protections nationwide. Yeah. Surfing was amazing. Amazing. Okay. More fun first. First, also another fun first that we can celebrate. France had their first transgender mayor take office. The Council of, and I'm not going to say this right, Taloy-les-Marchionnaise. I mentioned I failed French, right, in college. This was a big deal. Anyways, it's a village of about 600 residents. They elected their first openly transgender mayor in March. Marie Cow ran on a platform that emphasized ecological sustainability. So amazing, right? First woman surfer to do that huge wave. First transgender mayor in France. Then telescope, we have pictures that detail what the sun looks like for the first time. And Nathan's going to also pull this up. Honestly, it looks like a boiling pot of popcorn. So just know that. But this is a clip of the sun. So it was in January. I mean, that's it. It's boiling popcorn. It's hot. It's hot, hot, hot. It was in January. Astronomers released the most detailed pictures of the sun taken to date, taken by the new Daniel K. Inouye Solar Telescope, the world's largest. The telescope was built in Hawaii, in the Hawaiian volcano. Was built in the Hawaiian. Oh, interesting, which ultimately means the house of the sun. So another first. Another fun first, Vanity Fair is a major magazine that's been around, Fashion House magazine. It's been around for a very long time, very prominent. And they had their very first, which is a little bit sad, but at least they're making movements, Black photographer shoot their cover. So Nathan has two pictures to show us. One is of the photographer. His name is Dario Calmese, and he took photographs of actor Viola Davis, who is just an all-around badass human and actress. It was for the July-August cover of Vanity Fair. Yeah, so that's him. He's very cool, obviously. And then he took this shot. Yes. Amazing. My entire life has been a protest. Yes, ma'am. Love it, love it, love it. And finally, our last first to celebrate is that for the first time, Pope Francis, our current Pope, indicated support for same-sex civil unions, which again, took you long enough, right? But at least there's movement. At least there's movement there. In his interview for the documentary Francesco, which premiered in October at the Rome Film Festival, he spoke about how gay people have the right to be in a family. Yes, they do, and describe them as children of God. He is the very first pontiff to voice support for civil unions. So, right, those are things that we can celebrate. That's part of the movement, right? Be it small steps or large steps forward. Nonetheless, the world is starting to pay attention. So on a personal level, though, I think that we have to, or rather should be, or could be asking ourselves, what is our ultimate response? What are we taking from this devastating, eye-opening, and no doubt very hard last 12 months that we have endured together, that we've endured as individuals and endured together? So I think the main question I'm asking is, will you and I allow 2020 to be a year where, yes, everything changed, everything was different, but will we also be different? Will we also be changed? Because I believe that only the changed are the ones that can be then change makers. Like, right? It has to start first with us in order for us to help change and affect the rest of the world. I think it's those of us that choose to dream then get to carry out and fulfill dreams. But if we stop short of that, we won't get to the last point. And only those that choose to imagine a better world can then live into creating and living into a better world together. So I think it all starts and ends with us. And I'm really thankful because I know each and every one of us is willing and has put ourselves intentionally to be a part of the good, to be a part of change, to be a part of looking in mirrors, reflecting back on us, on what we can and should be doing differently to create the better world. But I think this year of all years is continuing to ask in big, like bright signage saying, what will we be? Who will we be? How will we be different moving forward? Because a lot of people are just going to go backwards. They want to go back. They want to go back to whatever normal was pre-2020, right? And that's easier. It's way easier to just go back, right? It's way more comfortable to just go back. But instead, I think all of us, in the midst of all the discomfort we felt this year, we need to keep pushing into that discomfort, intentionally saying, yeah, okay, but I want to be different. I want us to be different. I want this world to be different. And it can be if we choose it. So our writing prompt. So if you have pen and paper, I'm going to read these questions and then Nathan will also post them to the screen. So you don't have to start answering as I read them. I'm going to read through them all first. And also I hope that we could take the next like 5, maybe 10 minutes, let's take the next 5 minutes to start writing. But ultimately, I would want you and I to sort of take the night or take the next week or two, literally until the end of the year, to take some time with this, to really be reflective, to not rush through this, but to truly ask ourselves and to respond honestly to all of these questions, and then also like write them down, actually write them. I'm technically really challenging you to put pen to paper, because I think as you write it out, you'll understand a little bit more about yourself. And when you can have that paper and keep it close to you, tuck it in your desk or wherever, but come back and look at it and remember, this is the story, this is what I've learned, and this is how I want to change moving forward. Okay, here's our questions. How have you changed this year? How have you already changed this year? Not how do you want to change, but how have you changed already this year? What have you learned? Who have you leaned into more relationally? Who are your most important relationships right now? After all of this, in the midst of all of this, who have you realized are your most important relationships? And has that changed? Does this year look different than previous years in your relationships? Who do you miss? What perspective have you gained? I saw that, Malia. What perspective have you gained? Who did you realize are you willing to fight for? Like, who are you willing to link arms with, make your voice heard on behalf of, to stand with? Who are you willing to fight for? What do you no longer need? In the midst of all the lockdown and everything being taken away, or at least limited, what have you realized you no longer need? What do you miss doing? Like, what do you hope to get back for, right? To get back to. Ultimately, how will you live differently? Will you live differently? Do you feel like, nope, I'm fine, or I figured out who I was, or this year highlighted all the ways I already wanted to live, and now everybody else needs to catch up? Maybe that's you. How will you live differently? And finally, and this will help us be ready for our intention that we'll set together in January, but what is your dream for the world in 2021? For your world, not just the world. What is your dream for your world, the way that you're going to live into this world for 2021? Okay, Nathan's going to play a song, instrumental song, to give us a nice like bed of music. And let's just take these next, I think it's 4.5 minutes, just to start writing. And again, he's going to put the questions up too that I just read. And then after that 4.5 minutes, if any of you want to begin to share what you started to write, great. If you don't, great too. No pressure. But that's how we'll spend the next few minutes. Okay. I feel like it's like a test, pens down. um, okay, so hopefully that is a good, again, prompt. It's just a prompt for you. I really think it would be good and healthy for all of us to spend some time with this. Um, and I would love, and I think the community would love to hear from everyone. So if you want to share anything that you just have started to feel as those questions came up and how you're starting to process, I would love to share also later. I would love for us to share and take some time, and we have time for that right now. Also later, if you feel like it's something you want to share in written form and you want to send it to me, I'd love to post some of it, whether it's anonymous or with your name, whatever you prefer. But anytime we can share our learnings with each other, it often helps someone else learn too. So anybody want to share your initial response to any one of those questions or any bit of that? Nathan, yes.
All right, I wrote a few things down, but I also had the prompts for a lot longer than everyone else did. So I just said I miss the quiet and loneliness of an empty house, which might seem strange, but like used to, I would be the only one working from home, and now everyone's here. And I love being with the family, but at the same time, it's just, yeah. I miss travel. I think one of the bigger changes for me was this year was transitioning from someone who was a non-racist ally to someone who is an anti-racist ally, and the difference and understanding of what that looks like. And that's all I have to share.
Love all of that. Thank you for sharing that. And I get it. I resonate with everything you just said, actually. I totally get it, especially being in a smaller house than we've previously been in. It sometimes can feel really a lot, as much as you love everyone that's in this home with you. Matt Carr.
I think for me, most of that instrumental time, just so y'all know, I was like writing down the questions. I assume maybe you'll post them later or something. But what I did get written, I would say, like, how have I changed this year? For me, I think COVID has kind of forced some self-reflection. And for a lot of us that are not used to that, it can be a little disconcerting. But I'd say for me, it's been about actualization, well, transition and actualization. I feel like I've pushed further into myself and come to a sustained sense of like who Matt is, or who I like want to be and want to be to the world, and to stop apologizing. That was a big, this book has been part of that, recommended by a lovely therapist. So yeah.
Love all of that. Stop apologizing. That's great. Great word. Thank you, Matt. Abby, yeah.
I was thinking a lot about relationships and this year, and just how, especially moving from a place that's been home for almost 15 years to like leave that community, and it's been really interesting how I've been obviously not thankful at all for COVID, but this has been such a blessing, being able to stay connected with people. And also, like, my best friend chose to get married during the pandemic, and resulted in me not going, and now we're not, she's so mad at me, we're not really friends right now. So it's just an interesting, like, a loss of a best friendship has been like a lot of grieving and loss with that. And but also, like, with, I forget the exact question. How did you say, however you said it, and most important relationships, and leaned into more relationally, like that was just such good language, because I'm like, that's what it felt like through the loss of one important relationship, just seeing some really unexpected people and friendships come up. And I was a part of another thing that like fell apart because of racism and because of the pandemic. So just seeing some of these things crumble, and these relationships and opportunities in my life crumble, but then also see how some really beautiful relationships that maybe wouldn't have happened if those other things stayed intact wouldn't have come along, and being able to like lean into to those people and those relationships. So it's been really, it was great to, I know it's going to be probably a lot more processing and reflecting, but this was a great space that all of that kind of just was like, oh, these are probably some good things that I need to think about more. But
Yeah. Again, all of this has been so hard, but this is so good. I love what everyone's saying and sharing. Who else? Sarah?
So I've been thinking about this perspective question, and I have a word of the year I choose one every year, and it was expand this year, and it was like totally went sideways direction. Like I still am like, what does it mean? I don't know. But thinking about pain, and my threshold for pain, and I got my first tattoo yesterday, which is like a literal version of that. But thinking about how much I'm a good witness of pain for other people, but not to myself. And so definitely expanded that as far as just thinking about how there's pain that I've experienced that's familiar, and how that's been hopeful for me, that I'm going to get to the other side, and that it almost gives me strength. And I don't know, I'm just been thinking about that, and witnessing my own pain and how that can spur me on to continue to make the world a better place, but also heal. And I don't know, I'm just processing, but yeah.
Great. Thank you for all of that. I love that. Ashley.
So these aren't directly related to your questions, but some words that kind of came up, or ideas that came up with this, is one, the idea of just patience. And it's like we're forced into being patient, and there's no choice about it. And I'm naturally not a patient person at all. Nathan can probably attest to that. And it's been it's been a real struggle, but it's like I feel like that's something I'm going to walk away from differently, is just this forced patience and having to be like, okay, not yet. And then the other thing is just creativity in in distress, because like for the first time, if we want to see the people that we love, we have to get creative about how we're going to do it. And like a lot of you guys know, like I was in quarantine for those 2 weeks, and Nathan and I did get creative on how we spent time together. That we would do, like, we'd watch our shows together, but in different rooms. We'd like FaceTime and then like hit play and then stop and then call and regroup. And just the couple of people that I've been able to get together one-on-one with, just like, okay, we're going to be outside, and this is where we're going to sit, and this is how we're going to do it. And just instead of just doing whatever you want to do, like to get creative to still make things happen.
I love that. That's so true, Ashley. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? Housers. And oh, hi, Linda, officially.
Hi.
We were speaking highly of you before you even got into the space, but I feel bad that we have not acknowledged your beautiful presence. So hello, Linda.
Thank you.
I would say I also took a screenshot of the questions there for me to spend some more time with. Two relationships that were important for me this year is Christopher, our son, who's 32. We had some intense conflict in July that turned into a new experience of deeper relationship for us in August and September, or September and October. And it was just it's something that I will always look at 2020. And also he's very intense about testing and COVID. So I've had to do a lot of work to get with him. We've had to adjust things in our world so that we could see him. And that's been a different kind of challenge for us, but I'm super thankful for that with Christopher. And then there are always people in the music industry who are trying to get with me and become friends, and they perceive me to have some kind of influence or something, so they want to get close to me. And I typically hold lots of people at arm's length. Well, early in the year, or maybe even last year, a gentleman from Virginia Beach reached out to me, and I just kept putting him off. He's an African-American man. And I just kept putting him off. I kept thinking he's kind of goofy and don't have time. And after the George Floyd murder happened, and then a fellow artist manager, someone I've known a long time, some of you on the screen know him. He's a singer, a Black man. He started doing some very intentional, aggressive Instagram posts about how is the Christian music business interacting with African Americans, and how are we keeping people at arm's length, or how are we not being inclusive? And I was just cut to the quick by it. I was so convicted by it. And I immediately said, I'm going to go back to this guy in Virginia Beach and reach out to him. And I've ended up getting him business. And he is so intelligent and has so much passion and exuberance. And he's had such a huge impact on my life. But it was somebody that I just didn't even take seriously for a good year and a half. And he's had such a profound impact on my life, because I got my ass kicked in June, in June, about how am I really being intentional with relationships. And so it's a long story, but I'm very, very thankful for those two experiences this year. Thanks.
Love that learning. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Well, as you hopefully do this exercise, which every exercise is sometimes hard and off-putting, but if you take the time for it, you'll normally feel better afterwards. So I hope you'll do it. I hope Nathan shared a screenshot of it, but also we're going to put it out on social media tomorrow too, all the prompts. But I hope as you reflect, if you want to share more, whether that's just in the community or just on a text thread with some people on here, I just encourage you to share it. Because again, we learn from each other. That's a whole point of us learning to use our own voices and share our mistakes as much as our achievements and all of that. It's so not only can we celebrate with each other, but also that we can learn with each other and from each other. So please do that. Okay. So we've reached the end of the year. We are going to still do happy hours every Wednesday. I checked with Nathan, including next Wednesday, the 23rd. So anyone that wants or needs it, it will still be happening. And then the 30th as well. So we've got 3 of those left. Next Sunday night, if you will please join us, we will announce this also on social media probably tomorrow. But we're going to do, thanks to a little prompt by Leah, who I hope you're still listening, Leah, we're going to do a sing-along Zoom of carols, Christmas songs and carols. And not a sing-along like JJ gave us the beautiful example of where everyone unmutes and you can't really tell what's happening. But yeah, there's Leah. But a sing along where I've got a handful of people coming in to each take a turn and lead us through a carol or a familiar Christmas song. There may be 1 or 2 performances, but otherwise it's literally, I will have lyrics for you and you can get your cider or your beer or your whiskey. There's a special cider recipe coming out in the email tomorrow, thanks to Malia. So you could do that. But we'll just come on together for, I'm thinking like it's that moment of, beer and hymns, carols, and whatever. Yeah, Chris, that.
Melissa, I would say I've become known recently for Mary Did You Know? Some people might.
No, a coffee version.
A coffee version of Mary Did You Know? I'm totally kidding. I'm not going to.
I was like,
No, we need that now.
Right.
No.
Right now.
No.
Chris Hauser. Chris
I
Hauser.
learned the sign language for that in my youth group days. So
I got sign language for everybody right now. So.
You told me, Chris Hauser, that you would bend to my peer pressure. Bend
Yes.
the vocal cords, Chris Hauser.
I can definitely have it on the schedule because this is an all-state situation.
Next week, everyone come back next week.
This is not our excellence performance level winter song. This is a sing-along, beautiful family moment. So anyways, I hope you'll join us for that though. So we'll come together for an hour next Sunday night, 6 to 7. Again, there'll be lyrics, there'll be a handful of us helping each to lead a different song and maybe a performance or two. Speaking of performances, if you're not following along to Ryan Greenawalt, every day he's singing a new Christmas song and it's so good. Some of them are hilarious, some of them are just beautiful, and he's just a lovely human. Nathan's going to share one of those right now. It's just a short one. This has been my favorite so far.
Hark at the bells, ring silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing a trip to young and old. Dig in the book, ding dong, dong, tis the song, we jump the ring dong, caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, feeling the air. Oh, they found raising the sound, hurling their down in their tent, gaily they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Ding dong, they sing dong without him. Dear drums tone to every home. Hark at the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old. Make of the book, ding dong, dong, tis the song, dear drums ring dong caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, merry bound, raising the sound, hurling their down in their tones, gaily they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, they send dong without end their joyful tone to every home. Dong, and they send on without end their joyful tone to every home. Ding dong, ding dong, dong.
Literally, it's his like dung. He holds his mouth. He's so talented, but he does it. That was hilarious. He's so good. His high, yeah, I love it. So go give Ryan some props. We missed him and Evan. He and Evan. These past couple of months, they've had stuff on Sunday nights. Anyways, go follow along with that. Finally, so we winter song. It makes me so sad. So winter song is like, it's my personal favorite event of the year. It's many of our favorite events of the year. And as JJ so eloquently says, it's sort of our hallmark event. Like it really is the heart and soul of us trying to pull community together, right, from different places to represent diversity, and to use all of that not just as an entertaining moment, which hopefully it's always been entertaining, but also as a teaching moment where you're literally learning something about another group of people and how they celebrate and why they celebrate. So it broke my heart, and we tried multiple ways to get this done, and there was just no way to do it well. But we do have video from last year that we paid for, that, long story short, it didn't end up coming together like I wanted it to, and then the guy sold all of his equipment. Anyways, I got a version of the video, and Abby Lane and I have been working furiously, whichever one. We worked hard trying to pull out some of the clips from that. And then I've got new clips from Rabbi Lori. And so we're going to put together an abbreviated version of it that we're going to post online. It'll probably be about an hour, which is typically like 2 hours. But I want that to be something, one, that you can go hopefully re-enjoy and take an hour and cozy up, on your couch and watch, but also that we can share it. So people that wouldn't otherwise or haven't come and experienced this night or this type of event can get a glimpse into what we do and why we do. So hopefully that could be an opportunity for you to share things. So as soon as that's done, we will pass it along. Also, hopefully you got the email about the first day of Hanukkah, the first night of Hanukkah that Malia helped us put together. We'll do the same for Christmas and for Kwanzaa. Randy is asking if we auto-tuned. Randy, that's also why I said we couldn't use every clip from last year's video, but we can use a lot of it. It's not just because some portions people stuck out. It's also because sometimes the camera was really shaky and it doesn't make sense to share that. Anyways, so that's all coming up. So happy hours every Wednesday. Next Sunday night, join us all together for a sing along that happens live, and then also be looking for a winter song that you can share, an abbreviated winter song from previous years. Okay, I love you people. Anything else that we missed? No? Great. You still have your emails coming out the rest of the month. I hope you read those. I hope you get something from those. Thankful again to Malia, since this is our official last gathering. Malia, thank you for all your hard work putting together all of those emails every week. She's a rock star. Also, Cece is officially our bookkeeper, and she works hard behind the scenes, keeping up with all the Munty and communicating to Faith and Culture Center and with Daoud and keeping everything, in tip-top shape there. So thankful for that, and thankful to all of you for continuing to participate and making this community what it is. It's because of you. Okay, a toast. If you have anything left to drink, I have a tiny little glass. Ivy Baker Priest writes this: the world rounds, and the place which may seem like the end may also be the beginning. The world rounds, and the place that seems like the end may also be the beginning. May it be so. Cheers, my friends. Thank you. Love y'all. Have a good
Love
night.
you guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Love you. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.